Dear Aries, there are moments in life when you hear a call so quiet, it doesn't come from the outside. It rises from deep within the soul, like a hidden drumbeat urging you to stop, to listen, and to open your heart. Right now, I want to invite you to sit still and step into another space, a place where time moves slower, where stories are whispered like candlelight flickering in the dark, revealing truths you may have never noticed before. Maybe you've walked through many years, heard many prophecies, read countless messages, but today, something is entirely different. A rare door has opened, carrying a light unseen for the past 30 years. Let your heart receive it, because right now, I will tell you about a revelation never witnessed before, and that is where our journey begins. Aries, the unyielding flame of the zodiac. This morning, as I sat before the cards, I felt a chill run down my spine. It wasn't fear. It was awe, vibration so rare that in 3 decades of reading tarot, I have never once experienced it. 30 years, countless cards have passed through my hands, countless stories unfolded, countless lives revealed. And yet, never have I witnessed an arrangement as astonishing, as powerful as what I see today, meant only for you, Aries. Something is stirring around you. It doesn't come from chance, nor from some playful trick of fate. I feel it clearly, like a river hidden beneath the ground, restless, waiting for the moment to break open. The universe is restructuring your energy, each layer like shattered mirrors finding their way back together, creating a new image, a stronger, brighter, and one that will make you no longer the same person you once were. I know you may still carry questions inside. Why have the past months been filled with so many trials? Why have you felt drained, exhausted, unable to rise one more time? Aries, this is not punishment. This is preparation. Every upheaval, every crack, every moment you thought you would collapse was the invisible hand of the universe clearing the path for something greater. Pause for a moment and feel this. If you place your hand on your chest now, you may notice your heartbeat isn't steady as before. It is quicker, stronger, almost as if it's reminding you the time has come. There is urgent news, not to adjust your journey slightly, but to shake the foundation of your entire life. I believe every one of us has moments like this. A single sound, a single vision, a single realization, and we know with certainty that after that moment, we will never be the same again. And for you, Aries, that moment is standing right at your door. They often say the most frightening thing is not change itself, but failing to see that you are already standing at its threshold. That is why I want you to listen closely to every word, not as a prediction, but as a mirror, a reflection showing you the sacred fire inside, waiting to be lit. In these 30 years, I've watched people walk in with anxious eyes and leave with peaceful smiles. I've seen souls nearly swallowed by darkness finally discover their path within the ruins. And now, Aries, it is you who are being called into that journey, a journey that will not only change the road ahead, but also transform the way you see yourself. I want to pause here for you to ask yourself, do you feel you are standing at a new threshold? A door beyond which lies a completely different life, a completely different self. If your heart just stirred, share it in the comments. Not just as words for me, but as a promise to yourself that you have heard the call of your own soul. As I look at the cards spread before me, I see more than images. I hear the sound of another world, a world speaking to you. The time of hiding is over, the time to blaze has come. And I know with just one more step, what you thought was an ending will transform into a beginning. So listen deeply, Aries. Do not fear the darkness, because from it the brightest light will emerge. Do not fear loss, because in every loss a seed of rebirth is quietly sprouting. I feel it so clearly. A door is opening. A door of rebirth meant for no one else but you. And as this door slowly opens, you will understand everything that has passed was only the prelude to a new chapter, a chapter you will write with the immortal flame of Aries. There are moments in our lives when we look back and see everything shattered, broken apart, nothing left whole. 7 months ago, you may have lived through such a moment, a loss that pressed heavy on your heart, that made you feel as if everything you had built vanished like smoke. I know that feeling. It's like being left on a dark road with no lamp to guide the way. But in time, you begin to realize something. Sometimes the breaking apart is how the universe clears away what no longer belongs, so you can step into an entirely new path. Over many years of listening to people's stories, I've noticed one truth. The greatest turning points often arrive after the deepest collapses. Like dry earth needing a storm before it can bloom, the soul needs to pass through loss to find the seed of something new. You may have blamed yourself, asking why you weren't strong enough, why you let everything slip from your hands. But the truth is that ending was only the beginning of a larger rebirth. Close your eyes for just a moment. Remember that day 7 months ago. The moment when everything fell apart, when the pain tightened around your chest as if to crush it. And yet you took a breath, you stood up, even with trembling legs. That was the moment the universe whispered, "Don't be afraid, this road is not the end. It is only the threshold to a new door." And today, as you hear these words, I believe you are ready to understand. What was lost never took away the most important part of you. It only cleared space, so new light could enter. There are lessons we only learn through loss. When life feels full, it's hard to see what truly matters. But when we fall, we begin to recognize the strength hidden inside. I believe every collapse is a sacred guiding hand, because only when the old shell breaks do we get to touch the purest, most beautiful part of our soul. Have you ever faced a failure, a loss, that later revealed itself as the stepping stone for a greater change? If your heart quietly nods as you hear this question, share your story. Write it down, not just to inspire others, but to remind yourself how far you've come, how much courage it took to rise again. In Eastern philosophy, there is a truth. What breaks apart is also what gives birth. They take a shattered bowl, mend it with gold, and the cracks become the most precious part. We are the same. Your wounds don't diminish you, they make you shine in ways you never knew before. Remember this, when everything collapses, it is not proof of failure. It is the universe's invitation for you to become new. A version no longer bound by what doesn't belong. A version that rises from the ashes with a brighter, warmer flame, one that lights not only your path, but also those around you. So don't fear what's been lost. Don't label it as failure. See it as a seed buried in the soil. It must sit in darkness. It must be covered over before it can push upward into the light. 7 months ago, that seed was planted. Today, you are at the moment when the sprout is about to break through the ground. I can feel it, a new energy waiting to erupt. It's as powerful as molten lava flowing beneath a mountain, burning silently, preparing to rise. And you with courage and faith will be the one to open the way, to let it burst forth, carrying you into an entirely new chapter. When you step through that door, you will not be who you were yesterday. You will be a soul reborn freer, brighter, living in the true fire of who you are. And once that rebirth begins, you will be called to go even further into a journey of liberation, where the sacred strength of your ancestors will flow through you like a river that never runs dry. Deep within each of us, there is always something waiting to be awakened. A part of the soul untouched, a stream of energy lying still, like a hidden flame buried beneath the ashes. And for you, Aries, that energy is your ancestral inheritance, a power that has never been fully set free. In 30 years of reading the cards, I have never felt it so clearly. You have only been living with a small part of who you truly are, maybe 10%. The other 90 are like doors locked through generations, invisible cords wrapped around you, holding back the strength that was always yours. But now, those doors are trembling. The locks of the past, of family history, of old beliefs are being called to break open. I want you to picture yourself standing before a great river, its waters rushing hard, but held back by a massive dam. For years, that river has pressed and swelled, waiting for one small crack to pour through. That is the image of the ancestral power within you. And in this moment, the universe is handing you the key to release it. You know, when we heal ourselves, we are not only healing for us. We are rewriting the story of those who came before and those who will come after. The wounds your ancestors carried, the memories that hung unresolved, all of them are searching for release. And that release is through you. You are the flame bearer freeing them and opening the path of light for your children to walk. I believe in every Aries burns a sacred fire, passed down through generations as a reminder you were not born just to survive. You were born to shine. And when you ignite that fire, you are not living for yourself alone, you are rewriting the story of your family, your lineage, the souls that came before and the souls yet to come. Pause for a moment, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel into your veins. Do you notice the heartbeat is not only your own, but also of those who lived before you? Their hearts, their footsteps, their unfinished dreams, still alive within you. And now you have the chance to carry those dreams to completion. Maybe you once thought the wounds you carried belonged only to you, but the truth is, many of your pains were born long before you. They came from family history, from words spoken generations ago, from dreams left unfulfilled. And you are the bridge that will finally set them free. I hold this deep belief. Every time we dare to heal, we liberate an entire line of souls. When you cry not only for yourself, but for those who were never allowed to weep. When you forgive not only for you, but for generations lost in the dark. And when you rise, you become the symbol of freedom for them all. If you are ready, leave these words in the comments. I release my ancestral power, not only as a promise, but as a door you open for yourself and for those you love. Because when that power awakens, when the dam cracks and the waters flow, your life will transform. Prosperity will begin to flow toward you not only in money or possessions, but in opportunities, in freedom, in the pure joy of living true to who you are. And then you will be amazed to see the universe's greatest gifts often come from the most unexpected paths, as if they had been waiting your whole life just to arrive in this very moment. There are gifts that only appear once you've walked through enough loss, once you've traveled far enough to truly cherish every small ray of light. Prosperity is never random. It's like a seed you planted long ago, a seed you thought was forgotten, but one day under new rain and sun, it quietly begins to sprout. For you, Aries, 3 unexpected sources of prosperity are arriving just like that, natural, magical, and fully deserved. The first source comes from an old creation. Maybe it was a project you left unfinished, an idea you tucked away in a drawer for years, or a dream you once began but had to set aside. Do you remember the first time you thought of it, how your eyes lit up? Back then, the timing wasn't right. But today, the universe returns, placing in your hands the chance to revive it, to let it become a doorway into abundance. The second source is a forgotten talent. We often chase what society says we should do, and in the process, we forget the gift that was always ours. Maybe you once drew, sang, wrote, repaired, or did something so natural to you but never took it seriously. Now, that small gift could be the very key to your freedom, your joy, and your pride. Because true prosperity doesn't come from imitation, it comes from embracing your own unique gift. And the third source, I see it tied to innovation and technology. The world is changing so quickly. A door you've never considered may be opening in a new field where people and technology meet. It could be a collaboration, a fresh idea, or a path completely different from what you've walked before. Don't be afraid, because sometimes what feels unfamiliar is the very wind needed to set your ship sailing. Through many years of guiding others, I've realized this. True prosperity only comes when we dare to value what is already within us. So many have searched for treasure far away, only to discover it was always right beneath their feet in seeds planted long ago. And I believe the same is true for you, Aries. None of the value you created is lost. It's simply been waiting for the right moment to bloom, and that moment is now. Ask yourself, have you ever seen an old idea suddenly return, opening a brand new opportunity? Have you ever watched a forgotten talent unexpectedly save you? If the answer is yes, share your story. Because when one person tells their truth, hundreds of others can find hope. I want you to picture this. A wild garden where you once planted seeds, then walked away. Years passed and you thought they had all withered. But one day you return and find fresh green shoots rising proudly toward the sun. Those are your old creations, your forgotten gifts, your unexplored opportunities. They are waiting for you to notice them, nurture them, and let them bear fruit for you. When you begin to see these 3 sources of prosperity, your heart will understand. Wealth isn't just the money in your hands. It lives in the knowing that you are worthy, that you planted, that you kept the flame alive until the day it could blaze. Money will come, opportunities will come, and joy will return as the greatest gift of all. But I must remind you of this. Every light you ignite casts a shadow. And when your flame rises, there will be eyes that don't smile at your glow. There will be envy and energies that try to pull you back. That will be your next test, one you must walk through with steady feet and a clear, shining heart. When the light of a single candle flares in the dark, the shadows around it also become clear. And your journey, Aries, is the same. You've begun to touch prosperity. You've started to receive the gifts the universe places in your hands. But at this very moment, the shadows around you are also stirring. I see three people, three unhealthy energies sending currents against you. Some do it unconsciously, some may do it with intention. And among them, there is one person very close to you, someone you would never expect. We often think that everyone beside us wishes us well. But the truth is more complicated. People carry fear, envy, and wounds that have never healed. They see you rising, they see you supported by light, and their hearts stir with conflicted emotions. It isn't always that they mean to harm you. Sometimes, they simply haven't learned how to be happy for someone else. And in those moments, their energy becomes a barrier. I know, this feeling is uncomfortable. It's like playing a beautiful piece of music, but somewhere in the background, a strange noise rises, making the melody feel heavy. You can't command the noise to stop, but you can learn to adjust the volume of your own heart so that your music cannot be drowned out. The great lesson here is this: not everyone near you will truly celebrate your success. And that doesn't mean you're wrong or unworthy. It only means your light is growing, and with growth comes challenge. I believe the brighter the light, the stronger the test. That is not a bad omen. It is a sure sign you are on the right path. Think back for a moment. Have you ever reached an achievement, and instead of smiles, you caught a strange look in someone's eyes? Maybe it was a friend, maybe a family member, even someone you love. They weren't as happy as you thought. Some even quietly wished you would stop. If you've lived through that, share it, tell that story, because when you speak it out loud, you give others the gift of awareness. You remind them that not every light will be welcomed by everyone, and that's perfectly normal. In life, the challenges from shadows will never disappear. But what we can do is learn to see them, not judge, not resent, just hold clarity, just protect our own energy. When you step back, when you observe, when you don't let dark energy sink into your heart, you are clothing yourself in an invisible armor. And that armor is the strongest protection you'll ever have. Now, take a deep breath. Imagine a ring of light surrounding you, soft yet unshakable. Every harsh word, every jealous glance that touches this ring dissolves. They cannot reach you. You remain calm. You remain bright. And above all, you keep walking forward. The universe will never leave you alone in the dark. Every challenge is arranged to prepare you for a greater gift. And I see it clearly. Beyond the jealous eyes, beyond the heavy energies, you will cross into the next chapter of your story. And there, you will not find darkness, but the radiant light of destined love. A love that warms your heart and awakens the sacred mission you've carried since the moment you were born. There are love songs in life that are never announced. They arrive quietly, like the wind moving through the trees, like moonlight suddenly shining down on a path you thought was lost in darkness. Destined love is like that, Aries. It doesn't appear when we strain our eyes searching. It doesn't come when we cling too tightly. It walks in only when the heart is mature enough to realize that true love is not meant to be possessed, but to lead us into a deeper layer of the soul. I see your twin soul drawing near. It may not be the face you once dreamed of, not the person you thought would walk beside you, but that surprise is exactly what the universe intends. Because destined love doesn't come to feed the ego, it comes to open the door to your true destiny. Picture this: you're walking through a shadowed forest, and suddenly a companion appears holding a lantern. That light doesn't make you smaller, it illuminates the road ahead. That's how sacred love works. It doesn't confine you, it doesn't close you off. It gives you strength to keep living your mission. Through the years, I've seen so many mistake love for bondage. They believe to love means to sacrifice their own light just to keep someone else near. But I believe the opposite. Aries, you were born to lead, to open paths, to inspire. Sacred love will never steal your fire. It will multiply it until your light shines not only for yourself, but for countless others. The great lesson here is this: true love often comes from where we least expect. It might be someone you thought would only pass briefly through your life, a connection born in an ordinary moment, or even a soul you once believed was never right for you. But when you meet, you'll feel it instantly. A resonance beyond words. A knowing that your soul has recognized theirs for a very long time. So listen to your heart right now. Do you believe that destined love appears when we're ready? If your heart quietly nods, write these words: I open my heart to sacred love. Not just as affirmation, but as a doorway you open for yourself, and for love to enter as a natural flow of the universe. Destined love doesn't just touch your heart, it awakens the mission you were born with. It reminds you that you didn't come to this world only to love and be loved, but to join with another soul in creating something greater. A union not just for two people, but for the community, for society, for the world. You may feel this love like waves against the shore, gentle but unstoppable. It makes you see clearly that every loss you endured, every wound you carried was only preparation. So you could be generous enough, steady enough, radiant enough to welcome this moment. And when destined love knocks at your door, you won't fear losing anymore, because you'll know true love can never be lost. It becomes part of you, part of your breath, part of every step you take. It becomes the force that drives you to live more truly, more powerfully, more brilliantly than ever before. Aries, I believe that moment is drawing near, and when you open your heart to receive it, you'll realize that everything changes not only in love, but in your sacred mission. Because love and mission are never separate. Together, they create a new flow, powerful, human, radiant, with a reach far beyond what you can imagine. And all of this, every step from shadow to light, from trial to love, is carrying you toward the climax. A rare moment, a cosmic window opening for only 144 hours. A time when every energy converges to take you to the most important turning point of your soul's journey. In every life, there are rare moments when the universe opens a door meant only for you. A brief span of time when everything you think, everything you feel, and every intention rising in your heart is amplified many times over. For you, Aries, that moment is the next 144 hours. A short window compared to an entire lifetime, yet powerful enough to turn destiny, reshape reality, and lead you into a brand new chapter. Imagine standing at a crossroads in time. Each step you take in these 144 hours is like a hammer striking the foundation, building the bridge toward your future. What you choose to think, what you choose to do will echo far beyond now. The universe is no longer quietly watching. It is listening to every single heartbeat within you. This is a fated hour, the moment to step forward with clarity and courage. But before you act, there are 3 doors you must open. The first is forgiveness for yourself. How many times have you blamed yourself? Felt not good enough, not worthy enough? How many mistakes, how many regrets have you carried like a heavy backpack? Aries, this is the time to set it down. To forgive yourself is not to forget your mistakes, but to look them in the eye and say, I've learned my lesson and now I deserve to move on. When you release self-blame, it feels like wings unbound, ready to fly. The second door is accepting your differences. You've compared yourself to others. You've felt out of place. You've longed to be understood. But the truth is, you were born to be different. The Aries flame is unlike any other flame. It burns bold, fierce, untamed, and yes, at times hard for others to accept. But that difference is your gift to the world. When you embrace every color of who you are, you also give others permission to live true. And that is how the world slowly becomes free. The third door is acting from the heart. In these 144 hours, don't act out of cold reason or out of fear. Let your heart lead. Your heart knows the path to walk, the dream to pursue, the relationship to keep, and the weight to finally release. When you act from the heart, your energy is pure, and the universe multiplies it. What you do now will not only change your life, but plant seeds for many others. I believe this is the moment Aries is called to become, the architect of a new reality, not only for yourself, but for the community. You can be the spark of an idea, the one who clears the path, the one bold enough to try what no one has dared before. And as you step forward with courage, you will see you are not alone. Kindred souls will gather. Together you will help build a world more humane, more loving. Pause for a moment, breathe deeply. Ask your heart, what seed will I plant in these 144 hours? A word of forgiveness, a new decision, an old dream restored. You don't need to do everything. Just choose one born from the heart and trust that it will grow in the most miraculous way. If you're ready, write in the comments, I awaken my Aries power, not just as words, but as a declaration to the universe. A bold affirmation that you are awake, that you have looked into your own light and chosen to walk with your full strength. Aries, you've come with me this far through the layers of shadow and light, of trial and love, of loss and rebirth. Now you stand before a great door, a door that opens only for 144 hours and then closes again. Will you step through? I believe you will, because within you there is always a flame, and that flame has never gone out. Thank you, Aries, for walking with me, for opening your heart to receive this message. Everything I've shared is only a mirror for you to see yourself more clearly, and you are the one holding the key to change your life. I wish you peace, the radiant glow of the sacred fire in your heart, and the courage to step boldly into your new chapter.